come out for the day again. I've come for a little bit of seaside solitude, and I've come to Norfolk. Wells next to the sea, in fact. Not Wells next to the sea or Wells by the sea, Wells next to the sea. I have no idea why they chose to skip a few words when they named the place, but Wells next to the sea. I've been here years ago, but I don't really remember much about it. I can probably take a bit of a guess to say it's going to be flippin' busy, but that's all right. It's summer, so it's nice to see British seaside towns being used, I suppose, and being enjoyed. So I'm just going to have a wander and have a look and see what's what. So I'll take you with me. I'm just heading down to the quayside. Apparently there's lots of crabbing goes on down here. I have to say I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to things like that. I don't like the idea of touching crabs, but I'm going to have a little watch and see if I can find anybody catching and see what they've caught. The obligatory ducks. Normally when I vlog I find ducks. I love them. As you can see down the quay, everybody hanging over with their baskets and nets catching crabs. I'm sure the kids love it. It's beautiful today, it's about 23 degrees. It's just a tiny little breeze. It's lovely. It's a hell of a building over there. I think that is the granary. So from what I understand about Wells near the sea, next to the sea, Wells next to the sea, is that it used to be a big centre for malt. A lot of exports of malt came through Wells next to the sea, and that's the building over there, I think, where all the business was done. It's a hell of a building. I'll have a wander a bit closer in a bit and see if I can get some different footage. Can I have a look?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to catch them?
I don't know. How long have we been here for? An hour.
Oh wow, yeah. What will you do with them? Will you throw them back or
We'll
keep
throw
them?
back.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well done. My thing at all. I'm wondering if my granddaughter would love it or if she'd hate it like me. She's a bit braver than I am.
What's that with them?
So if you caught my vlog last week when I was in Market Harborough, you'll know I was having a bit of a tough week. And in this vlog, I thought as well as bringing you to Wells next to the sea, I'd just share with you some of the things that I found really helped last week when things were a bit tough. Nothing fancy, nothing groundbreaking, just, you know, a few tips that I found helped. They may help you as well. There you go, that's one of the tips, I guess, about leaving your daily stresses and strains behind. It's just to get out, get away from them for a little while. It doesn't make them go away, but it does mean you go back to them with a little bit of a more positive outlook, a bit more of a positive approach. It's like recharging your batteries, I guess. Just changing location if you can. I know it's not always easy, but even if it's just a couple of minutes to change locations and do something that takes you away from that cause of the stress, even if it's just going and having a cup of tea in the garden or getting out and about and actually getting in the car and going somewhere new. I found that really helped last week, just going down to Market Harborough and seeing a friend, changing location. And today, coming to Norfolk, I've made a point, I guess, of speaking to Mark and saying, look, can I just have one day a week where I basically, I'm not I'm not there. I can do what I want. And of course he said yes, he's lovely, you know, it's not like he said no. And he did work a little bit this morning. So I've come out, I wanted to get out first thing and have a really full day. But actually, I didn't get out until probably 11 o'clock. So it's gone lunchtime. I think it's about 1:15 now. Might be a bit later actually, 1:20. So it's not a whole day, but actually it's summer, isn't it? So I've got plenty of hours. I've parked until 7 this evening, and it's about a 2-hour journey back home. So I've got a full day, nice full day. So another thing that really helped me last week when things were feeling a little bit tough was actually just acknowledging that things were feeling a bit tough. You know, I think sometimes we try and bury our feelings or pretend that they're not there because there's something doesn't feel good, does it? It doesn't make you feel good or make you feel like a good person if you're feeling resentment or if you're feeling frustrated or if, as I was last week, just feeling a bit trapped. And I think the danger is if we don't acknowledge those feelings, what we end up doing is squashing them down. And they can only squash so far. You know, if you try and squash a beach ball down into the sea, we just sit down and talk because it's easier than walking. If you try and sort of push a beach ball down into the water, it takes a lot of effort to keep it down there. And the minute you let go of that squashing, because you've been trying to squash it down, it just pops back up with a vengeance, you know. It's under so much force that when you release it, it just explodes upwards, doesn't it? So I think rather than getting to the point where you've got that explosion in the making, we've got to not squash those feelings down and actually acknowledge them, embrace them almost as being a normal part of being a human being. You know, there were times last week when all I really wanted to do was go and scream into my pillow, and I didn't do that. Although in some ways, maybe that wouldn't have been a bad idea. Maybe that could have been another tip to give you, although I didn't do it. Because it's just that release, isn't it? It's that recognition that something's not right, and it's actually okay to feel those feelings. So yeah, that made a big difference for me, I think, just acknowledging that I was feeling like things were a challenge. If you saw my video last week, you'll realise I said challenge a lot. I think I used the word challenge probably 20 odd times in the first few minutes. And I think that's because I didn't want to use other words, I guess. I didn't want to actually say that. My mental health was really suffering last week. So I kept calling it a challenge. It was more than a challenge. It was bloody difficult. But yeah, acknowledging it is definitely a help. Right, anyway, I don't really know where I'm going. I haven't been using a sat nav, I'm just wandering. But I'm going to go and keep walking and see what else we can find here in Wells next to the sea. So I'm just wandering, and I've kind of come away from the town a little bit. Don't really know where I'm going. Nothing new there. I think I might be walking down towards the granary building. Do you remember the one I showed you earlier with that bit of sort of overhanging over the quay? But I seem to be on a bit of a back lane. But I can see the sea in front of me. But I can see the sea just through the buildings at the end there. So we'll keep walking. I'm getting a bit hungry, I must admit. It was a bit of a sad week this week as well. Well, a kind of happy sad. Do you ever get those things where you know it's going to be happy, but it feels sad in the meantime? Let me tell you what I mean. So, as you know, if you've watched me for a while, oh, gravel under my feet. Hope that's not too loud. We've got a camper van. We bought a camper van last November, and we've been all over the place. I love it. It's my little sanctuary. And we sold it on a Sunday, so we haven't got one anymore. That's why I'm really sad, because I haven't got my little bolt hole. When we're not using it, it sits on the drive, and it's my little sort of bit of safe sanctuary when I need a bit of space, and I haven't got it anymore. But there is a silver lining. We've ordered a brand new one, so we pick up our brand new camper van in hopefully middle of September, middle to late September. They're building it as we speak, so we've actually been able to kind of say exactly what we want. So in terms of getting a camper van that is perfect for us, it's on its way, and it'll be brand new. We don't really do brand new stuff. We've only ever had one brand new car, and even then we leased it for the first 3 years before we bought it. It's just never been that important. But we've got the opportunity to buy this camper van brand new. Nobody else will have ever used it. Nobody will have ever slept in the beds. It'll be completely ours from brand new. And I'm really excited about it. It just means that we've got this sort of 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks without a van. And that's where the sadness comes, because I do quite like just going away in the van, even just on my own. And I can't at the minute, but it's that happy sad, you know. So it is, I was right, it has brought me down to the granary. The construction began in 1902. It was used as a granary for storage of threshed grain and other cereals. Ships from all over Europe unloaded soybeans, grain and other cereals, which were stored in silos within the building. The last ship to unload cargo into the granary was the MV Marlborough Bright on the 7th of December 1990. So actually it's not that long ago since it was still a granary in use. It's now Sowerby's estate agents, but it's just an incredibly interesting building. That's so cool. I'm going to try and get across the road and show you from a different angle. Filming, looking into a camera, walking across the road. Too many things going on for one little brain. It's just beautiful. You see the gull sat on the edge of the boat there. Probably waiting for chips, I would think.
How are you getting on, Isla? Terrible.
It's a nice building there as well, the Hickling Gallery. Wills of Wells. Fine if you need some flip-flops. Right, let me see if I can get this building. There you go, that's the gallery. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, that's the granary. I think it might be apartments or something now because I can see somebody sat up there. How beautiful. Right, anyway. Turn that one off. I think we'll head this way and see what's up here. Let's head along the edge here. See if I can try not to trip up or fall in, because I'm hopeless. It's got that typical quayside smell, you know, that like fishy smell.
Over here, H. Finn's brother.
There's a lot of people to navigate. Right, let's have a look up here and see what we've got. Very tempted to grab something to eat, perhaps some fish and chips, and come and sit and eat them looking over the harbour and read my book for a little bit. A lot of buildings in Norfolk have this sort of stone facing. I think it's a facing. I don't think it's that they're actually made fully out of that stone. I think it's like a render, sort of stones into render, if that makes sense. Not that I know much about building or what I'm talking about.
Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do?
People on kayaks out there rowing,
No, you
paddling.
couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time.
So one of the other things that really helped last week was just taking a little bit of time to find the joy in things. It's so easy, I think, when you're feeling like times are tough, to only really focus on the crap that's going on. But sometimes it's finding joy in the little things. So, you know, for me last week, just finding an outfit for the wedding and getting a bit of a bargain, that was a real little moment of joy. But also just having a coffee with a friend, that was a moment of joy in amongst all of the not so good stuff. But another time last week, I literally just went and sat in the garden with a really nice cup of tea and a biscuit, and I made it in a nice china teacup and had it with a cup and saucer. I do enjoy that. That is a little bit of joy. And it doesn't have to be big, you know, even if it's just finding 10 minutes to read a book, or somebody paying you a little compliment. We're not always very good at taking compliments, are we? But when somebody gives you a compliment, just accepting it and embracing it, and then remembering it. I'm a big one for journaling, and I tend not to journal when I'm feeling really rubbish. I tend to journal probably when I don't need to. I journal when I'm in a good place. And I forget to do it when I'm not feeling so great. But last week I made a point of actually just sitting and doing a little bit of journaling and doing a bit of gratitude. And when you're looking for the little joys, those little joyful moments, it's easy to write them down in a gratitude journal. I'm not sure what's down here. Looks a little bit interesting. I did see a sign saying Flo and Joe's, which I think is a cafe. And if there is, I might stop here. I can't make my mind up whether to get fish and chips and sit in the busy part or to just get a nice bite to eat somewhere a bit quieter. Let's just have a look. I don't know what there is, but we'll find something, I'm sure. I have a tendency to just stick to the beaten track and never go off it. And I want to try and be a bit braver and actually go off the beaten track. So I don't know where Flo and Joe's is. I definitely think I've missed it. I know, look how lovely this is. It's just really calm and peaceful. But definitely don't know where Flo and Joe's is. So it might have to be fish and chips. Don't know what's up here. I'm going to go and have a little explore. I was thinking of walking from Wells to Holcombe. I might still do that, but I think it's quite a walk. I think it's about 7 miles round trip. But I might do it. I might see. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction. I haven't checked a map. Very flat, of course, Norfolk. Bit of a black cloud over there. I'm not sure if I might get wet. I have got a waterproof jacket in my bag. I'm learning to be prepared. Right, I think rather than carrying on that way, I am hungry. I'm going to go back into town and find a fish shop. A chip shop, I should say, and get some fish and chips. Whoops.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Oh,
my
sorry.
fault for not looking where I'm going. Oh God, only I could be looking at somewhere completely different. Nearly walk into somebody's surfboard, paddleboard. What an idiot. Right, let's go and get some fish and chips, I think. So busy.
Yeah, so how it works is if you want to sit in, you can get, if there's a table available, you can have it, but then you just hold on these screens here, if you need any help on them. Always, you do this in the default. Go get a table, that's not available, and then order on these screens. These come back up.
Just so I get something to take away.
Yeah, you still use these screens here.
Sorry?
You use these screens here. Do you need any help on them?
No, I'll figure it out. Thank you. Okay, you got to do it by screen. Start ordering. Haddock and chips. Add to order. View order. Next. Take away. Next. Accept the terms and conditions. Ooh, okay. I'm not going to start and read terms and conditions to order a bag of chips. It's all a bit McDonald's. Got my number. Right. Let's go and number's 593. Okay. All good stuff. Remember the days when you just went up to the counter and said, "Can I have cod and chips, please?" It's all a bit high tech. Never mind. I think I might be here a while. There's quite a queue in front of me, numbers wise. That's it. I'm done. They beat me. Actually, the chips were okay. They weren't brilliant, but the fish was amazing. So, you know, all things considered, they were all right. They weren't cheap. They're 15 quid for takeaway fish and chips. and a lot of faff to get them. But I tell you what, the whales next to the seagulls are very polite. They didn't dive bomb my chips at all. So I think I'm going to go and see if I can find somewhere to get a drink. Probably sit in somewhere for a drink, maybe a cold drink or a cup of tea, something like that. And I'll tell you my next tip. There are a lot of bored, crying children and some frazzled parents. And I think we're only a week into the summer holidays. Do I order at the counter or the table? Thank you. Right, tea, I think. Hiya, can I just get a pot of tea, please?
Just tea, anything else?
That's it, thank
Just
you.
tea?
China tea first. Always my favourite. Let me know, do you agree? Does tea just taste better from a China teacup? Let me know. The battery's just about died in the GoPro, so I tend to use the GoPro for the rollster. The battery life isn't great in these, but I've got a whop of 3 spares. I'm going to change the battery quickly. It's 3 o'clock and I'm thinking I might go and see if I can find my way down to the beach. But I've got no signal at the minute, so I can't do a Google search to see how to get there or how far it is. But once I get outside and get a signal, I'll be able to check. I had to smile. I'm reading this book by Kate Atkinson and just barely into it. You know, I've just joined the National Trust. There's a passage, she said, Tracy hoped the weather would last for a holiday, a week in a National Trust cottage in a lovely setting. She was a member. That's what happened when you grew older and had nothing fulfilling in your life. You joined the National Trust or English Heritage and spent your weekends meandering around gardens and houses that didn't belong to you. And I had to smile because I've joined both the National Trust and English Heritage. Maybe that's what's happening to me now. I'm getting old. So there is a breeze just starting to get up and it's rather nice actually. But boy oh boy, I feel so stuffed. Those fish and chips, I couldn't even finish them, not even close. But I feel so full. And then having a cup of tea has just added to that. So I'm going to have a walk down and see if I can find the path down to the sea. The lady in there said it's about a mile. So I'm going to walk off my chips. I need to. For some reason the tracking on my camera isn't working. It's meant to come on automatically. And it isn't. Right. So. Shall we do it when we get to the shops? Norfolk Coastal Path, that's what I'm looking for. Right, back on this busy road. We'll keep going. Yeah. So I've had a really nice day wandering around Wales next to the sea. It's got a nice atmosphere. And friendly seagulls that don't lick your chips. But I'm thinking I might enjoy it more if I came back, not in the school holidays, when hopefully midweek it's a bit quieter. It's Wednesday today. But of course, school holidays is not going to make a difference whether it's a weekday or a weekend. I think it might be a nice place to come back in the van with Mark. Because we're not far either from Sandringham. And I think you can, I believe there's a good campsite at Sandringham where you can go and you're right up close and personal with a deer. Sounds lovely. Right, let's see, where am I going? Yeah, turn you around and I'll show you. I'm guessing probably need to be down here. Beach Road, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Forgot to put my microphone on for that last bit, so hopefully you could hear me above all the traffic. Just in case it didn't come out, I'll say it again. I'm going to head down to the beach and see if I can walk off my fish and chips, because I am so full. I think this is back the way I came. Yes, it is. There's the toilets that I used when I first got here. This is back along where I parked the car. So I got another few hours on my parking, but right, I think I need to cross over and go this way. I can see it, right, coastal path. So do I take the high path or the low path? The high road or the low road? It's a hell of a walk to Scotland. So, continuing on with my hints and tips that helped me last week when I was feeling a bit fed up. I think one of the biggest helps, the thing that I did that made the most difference, was actually saying what I was feeling out loud. You know, actually talking to people and talking about how I was feeling, not just to myself. Acknowledging it to myself was one thing, but actually talking about how I was feeling to other people really helped. The friend I met for lunch, bless her, she was so brilliant at just listening to me and making all the right noises, you know, saying the right things, like what you're feeling is normal and it's perfectly human. But also talking to Mark about it without getting all emotional, just explaining that, you know, I'm really finding this quite tough, and then explaining why. It made a huge difference. It's like it kind of validated what I was feeling. And there's something I think that happens when you say something out loud that is just a bit different to saying it to yourself, you know, or keeping it inside, of course, but just talking about it. There's a reason why talking therapy works so well. But actually, even just talking to you guys on YouTube and talking about how I was feeling, because I got some lovely comments, you know, again saying, I get you, you know, this is perfectly normal, and it's good that you talked about it, because it did really make a difference. Who knew YouTube could be therapy, eh? It definitely did. There was something safe, I think, about talking to a camera. You're getting it out there, but whether you post what you video, you know, what you record or not, doesn't matter. Just talking it out, talking about your feelings out loud, really made such a difference. It's actually really nice to see so many people out and about and enjoying the British seaside. There's a bus that takes you from the beach cafe back into Wells. It's not that far, but I guess if you've got mobility issues or whatever, it's good that there's a bus. It's about, I would say, just over a mile to walk from the harbour down to the beach. Yeah, nice walk and very flat. It's all this path all the way. So perhaps not the most picturesque path, but it did have that view all the way. You can see how far we've come. This is the outer harbour. We saw the tugboat harbour earlier, didn't we? And this looks like the lifeboat station here. Oh, it's new, built in 2022. Look at that. Let's go and have a look around the back, see if we can get a different view. Oh, I wonder if I'll see any. Love beach huts. So British.
So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all.
One of the things I think I really need to get better at, but makes a huge difference, is just letting go of feeling guilty for the feelings that you have, you know? I think we all do tend to feel guilty if we feel like we're being a bit selfish, or if we feel like our emotions aren't valid, but they are valid. And letting go of the guilt is actually really important. And we shouldn't feel guilty for being human. You know, at the end of the day, when life is tough and we've got to sort out what's going on and we've got to get our emotions in check, I suppose. We've got to acknowledge and appreciate that we're going to have some negative emotions when times are tough. There might be anger, there might be frustration, there might be lots of negative emotions that, quite honestly, most of our life we're told we shouldn't have. Well, no, we should have them, and we should be able to express them without guilt. I'm not talking about, you know, lashing out, but realising that it's okay, it's normal. That's the hardest bit, isn't it? That's what I was talking about earlier, this need to kind of suppress and squash our emotions. It's so unhelpful. So yeah, letting go of guilt. Let go of the guilt. So I decided to walk back and not be lazy and get the bus, even though I fancied it. I've got too many chips to wear off. And actually it's just a really nice walk. I don't really get how people can just come and sit on a beach all day. It doesn't appeal to me at all. But I do love being by the sea. I think it's because I grew up by the sea, you know. I was about 5 miles away from the beach. And we used to go quite often and just walk along the promenade in Whitley Bay near Newcastle and walk up through Cullercoats up to Tynemouth. And it's so lovely. And then, of course, I lived in Cyprus for 3 years where we were close to the beach. And I also lived in the Outer Hebrides, right next to the beach, albeit the weather wasn't always great enough to be able to go and sit on the beach anyway. But there's something, I don't know, I guess feels comfortable about being close to the sea. And we live right in the middle of the country, so we're a good couple of hours away from our nearest bit of coast, which for us is actually the Norfolk coast, Hunstanton, even though we live in Lincolnshire. So I could have come to Hunstanton today, but I fancied Wells instead, and I'm glad I did. I think it's just been a really lovely, relaxing day. But I am going to head back to the car now. It's going to probably take me half an hour to get back to the car and then about 2 hours to get home. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, and I hope you found my tips useful. As I say, they're nothing groundbreaking, they're quite simple, they're just sometimes things we forget to do, And when we do them, we feel better. It's as simple as that. So anyway, if you have enjoyed this, I'd be really grateful if you'd consider hitting the subscribe button. It doesn't commit you to anything. You're not having to pay for it. It's not like a subscription service. It just means that you're letting YouTube know that you've enjoyed my content and you'd like to see more of it. And you could also, while you're down there, perhaps hit the bell. That means you'll get notified when I put out a new video, so you won't have to go searching for it. And if you could hit the like button, that would be brilliant, because that would just let you know, or let me know rather, that you like my content. So all those little bits of feedback really help. But I shall leave it there for now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.